behalf of the Misericordia administration, we really want to thank you for keeping
Misericordia strong.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Misericordia Women's Board Heart of Mercy Virtual Ball. 100 years of heart. My name is Lou Manfredini. You may also know me as Mr. Fix-It, and my wife and I were past honorees in 2015 and have been supporters of Misericordia and the work that they do for children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities for many years. We were so looking forward to being able to gather together in person this year, but alas, we must once again be virtual. I'm very happy to be invited back as MC for tonight's event. Now, we still have an amazing evening planned, and we're so happy that you could be with us. Now, please welcome Father Jack Clare, Associate Executive Director of Misericordia, to officially start our program with a prayer. Enjoy your evening.
Good evening. Welcome. Though I would love to be welcoming you to the Hilton, today we're able to do this on virtual site. So you're watching it either on your TV or on computer, and we're celebrating tonight the Women's Board Ball. We take a moment to ask the Lord for His blessing upon our celebration and upon all the work that we do. So loving God, the psalmist reminds us that 100 years are like nothing to you, but to us here at Misericordia and to the Women's Board, they have been 100 years of hard work, loving years in which we have provided good lives for so many people. From the beginning of the mission of Misericordia as a maternity hospital for the poor, until the day it became so much what it is today, a home for disabled children and adults, Misericordia has tried to reach out to so many of your vulnerable people. And with the help of the Women's Board, who has journeyed this 100 years with us, we are so grateful tonight that we are able to celebrate that mark, that time of 100 years. We are so blessed by the work of the Women's Board, for their generosity of spirit, for the goodness that they show us in so many beautiful ways. We thank Sharon Taylor as our president this year, and we remember Bridget and Patty, who have worked so hard to make tonight so possible. We continue to be blessed at Misericordia by the wonderful people who touch our lives. But here at Misericordia, because of the goodness and generosity of so many, the 600 children and adults who have a home here at Misericordia live happy and good lives. And for that, Lord, we are truly grateful. It is your blessing that has guided us throughout this time. The 100 years of faith that the women have expressed through the Women's Board have been a wonderful sign of strength to us and to Sister throughout the years. We ask your blessing as we continue the celebration. Even though COVID has held us back from a little of the formal setting, we're still Misericordia strong as we wear on our clothes during this year, and we remember how strong we are because of your help, God. We ask your blessing on all who are watching tonight, on all the people who believe in Misericordia. We offer our thanks and praise to all the generous donors and supporters who have made this special event so important. Continue to bless all of us who are a part of this mission. We thank you for these 100 years and pray that we might continue to serve you in the days and years ahead. And we ask this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father Jack. We have so much to celebrate tonight, including the 100th anniversary of Misericordia. Oh, and did you know the Misericordia's Women's Board started that very same year? We want to commemorate all of the members of the Women's Board, especially their founder, Frances McCormick McGuire, for a century of raising awareness and funds to further the mission of Misericordia. We're also celebrating the residents for the inspiration and joy they have given so many of us, and honoring our incredible staff tonight. The dedicated staff here at Misericordia not only takes care of the residents each and every day, but they do so with much love and compassion. This is even more evident during this national health crisis. One staff said, "Tough situations can either make you or break you. This made us. I thank God for my coworkers." What a wonderful testament to the amazing staff. Now, as we enjoy the program tonight, don't forget why we're here, and that is to support Misericordia and the wonderful care they provide to their residents. Stay with us, and we'll present some priceless moments of the staff and residents sharing life to its fullest. Here's how you can help right now and throughout the evening. Go to your laptops or your smartphones and go to heartofmercyball.org to bid and to donate. Or you can pick up the phone and call 866-513-7627 to donate. It's that easy. You won't want to miss the chance to jet off to Hawaii, Tuscany, a vacation home in Ireland. These are great items, folks, but you have to bid early and often in order to make them your own. So now, let's take a moment to hear from our Misericordia Women's Board leadership team. It's my pleasure to introduce Sharon Taylor, President of Misericordia's Women's Board. You'll also hear from our event co-chairs, Patty Beckland and Bridget Sinkus. Sharon, Bridget, and Patty have been committed to the mission of Misericordia and members of the Women's Board for many years. Please welcome Sharon Taylor.
Thank you, Lou, and thank you for all you and Mary Beth do for Misericordia. Our special thanks to all of you for joining us tonight and celebrating the mission of Misericordia. I have the privilege of leading the Women's Board in this our 100th year and Misericordia's 100th year. I would like to recognize all of our past and present Women's Board members who have been and are key contributors to strengthening our board and Misericordia. On behalf of the Women's Board, I would like to thank Sister Rosemary, Lois, Kevin, Father Jack, Mary Pat, and their Misericordia teams. We are so grateful for your leadership, passion, love, and high expectations for our residents, staff, and the Misericordia mission. Tonight could not have taken place without the commitment of our Women's Board, and in particular our ball chairs, Patty Bakeland and Bridget Sinkus. Patty and Bridget worked joyfully and tirelessly to bring us this wonderful evening. So let me now introduce Patty and Bridget.
Bridget and I are honored to be this year's ball chairs for this special evening celebrating 100 years of heart.
100 years ago, Misericordia opened its doors to serve a population in need. Today, through Misericordia's outreach and adult enrichment program, our children, Jack and Katie, along with children from over 200 other families, experience multiple opportunities for employment and social and recreational activities.
We would like to thank our ball committees and chairs, especially Sharon Taylor, who have helped us with this event. We have truly felt your support this year under these unusual circumstances. We would also like to thank all of our sponsors and donors who are helping to keep Misericordia strong with your generosity and belief in Misericordia's mission.
Thank you for being here tonight. Enjoy the show.
As we celebrate 100 years of compassionate care, we'd also like to take you on a journey of Misericordia's rich history. Did you know Misericordia started on the south side of Chicago, or that it was once a maternity hospital for mothers in need? It is my pleasure to introduce Carol Marine as she takes us through 100 years of Misericordia's past, present, and future. Carol has been a part of the Misericordia community as a loving parent for more than 20 years and is currently the director of DePaul University's Center for Journalism Integrity and Excellence.
When we think of Misericordia, we think of a beautiful campus on the north side of Chicago. But Misericordia's story began a century ago. It was born February 4th, 1921, on the south side, where, under the direction of the Sisters of Mercy, the Misericordia Maternity Hospital and Home for Infants opened its doors, serving mothers of meager means and their newborn babies. By 1951, its name was shorter, Misericordia Home, and its future far broader. In 1954, Sister Mary Walter and the Sisters of Mercy redirected their focus to meeting the needs of infants and children with physical and developmental disabilities. By the late 1960s, Misericordia was at a turning point. In 1969, Sister Rosemary Connolly was appointed administrator. For more than 50 years, Sister Rosemary would guide Misericordia through enormous growth, touching and ultimately changing the lives of thousands of children, family, and supporters. As Sister Rosemary always says, I felt God's presence the first time I walked into Misericordia. I felt that all the children were loved. Her first order of business was to create much-needed programming for these young residents. She started with a trip to the local Sears, where she purchased swimming pools, tires, and a handful of tricycles for the kids. The children loved these new programs and tools, but Sister Rosemary knew much more had to be done. During a meeting with Monsignor Thomas Holbrook, administrator of Catholic Charities, she expressed concerns that Misericordia South was no longer large enough. The Monsignor mentioned that Angel Guardian Orphanage, located on 31 acres on the north side of Chicago, had closed due to lack of state funding. Sister Rosemary saw an opportunity, and an idea took root. On a chilly day in late March 1976, 39 children and staff left Misericordia South and headed to the north edge of Chicago, blazing a trail that hundreds of other children would eventually follow. Sister Rosemary researched how residential homes clustered together in small, village-like settings might benefit people with developmental disabilities. In 1981, they broke ground for the Heart of Mercy Village Homes. Sister described her vision as an attempt to create a living community that will allow the maximum degree of participation with the outside world. The village homes paved the way for many more residential areas on campus that would decrease the ever-growing wait list and meet the needs of each individual resident. As Misericordia grew, so did its commitment to continuing educational and developmental learning. These opportunities expanded on campus with the opening of the Learning Center, offering classes in reading and writing and basic life skills. In the mid-1980s, Misericordia opened the Adult Development Training Workshop, affectionately referred to as DT, and then later called Community Day Services. Since then, it has expanded, created, and refined programs focused on meaningful work, community employment, adult learning programs, technology, micro-businesses, and independent living skills. It provided residents with the dignity of an honest day's work and, of course, a paycheck. Misericordia believes that all people, disabled or not, should have the opportunity to be meaningful members of their community every day. Over the years, Sister's feeling of God's presence at Misericordia has only grown stronger. All residents worship in their own way. Those of the Jewish and Christian faiths are able to attend daily or weekly services in the chapel and in the all-faith room. Misericordia also encourages all residents to be involved with organizations of faith in their larger communities. Today, Misericordia residents enjoy a high quality of life due to its extensive medical, therapy, and health and wellness programs. Thanks to Sister Rosemary's vision, there's an on-campus dental clinic, a hair salon, the Misericordia Sweetheart Shop in Glenview, and so much more. The new millennium brought a building momentum. In 2005, after more than 80 years, Misericordia decided to close its South Campus and relocate the remaining residents to a newly constructed skilled nursing home called the Catherine Macaulay Skilled Residence. Misericordia reached another milestone in 2016 with the opening of 4 new homes in the Quinlan Terrace. These facilities are designed to provide care for the aging and, more importantly, complete the full continuum of care on campus. But challenges keep coming. In early 2020, the home found itself once again in uncharted waters. The coronavirus pandemic that swept the world threatened not only the services offered to residents, but threatened their health, their very lives. Misericordia mobilized, quickly taking steps to ensure the safety of both vulnerable residents and staff as well. Its 1,100 member staff not only takes care of the residents each and every day, but they do so with love and compassion. From the direct care staff to housekeeping and maintenance, the employees touch so many lives, ensuring residents are living the highest quality of life. Through the years, Misericordia has benefited from the efforts and the commitment of thousands of volunteers. Since 1921, their work and loyalty have remained the lifeblood of Misericordia. The home simply could not exist without the continued involvement of our volunteers, supporting groups, Misericordia families, and siblings. As Misericordia moves forward, plans are continually being developed to expand and grow. New residences, services, facilities, and programs are forever being considered, all in an effort to better the lives of those who live here and those who someday will. Today, Misericordia serves more than 600 children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities on a 31-acre campus with 14 additional homes. It has also opened the campus to 200 more families. This growth shows no signs of abating for the next 100 years. Congratulations, Misericordia, on a century of compassionate care.
Welcome back. Let's keep this celebration going. And thank you to Carol for taking us on such a beautiful journey. It's amazing to see how much Misericordia has grown over the years, and it's a true testament to their mission. Thanks also to Sister Rosemary and her staff. They have worked tirelessly to give residents the highest quality of life, and they're not about to stop now. One longtime staff member said, "I love to see the residents' progress. I enjoy seeing their happiness, and I enjoy the sense of family here. I don't see the residents as disabled. I see each of them as individuals, as persons who can accomplish anything. It's the residents who keep me here." And this is what Misericordia is all about, providing enriching opportunities for the residents to lead happy lives. Now, we have more to come tonight, and so many opportunities to support the residents, staff, and the wonderful programs they have happening right now by bidding on auction items. Remember, the auction closes at 9 p.m. sharp. You'll also have the opportunity to donate this evening. We're all here tonight to help decrease their more than $20 million funding gap. It's so important now more than ever, especially during this challenging year. You can either call in your donation if you want by dialing 866-513-7627, or you can go to heartofmercyball.org. Donating now means you're helping to provide funds to the art department, the technology program, which they need now more than ever to stay connected to their friends and family and continue to maintain their skills. You're also donating to the horticulture program, office skills program, therapies, fitness programs, and much more. As we reflect on 100 years of compassionate care, we must also recognize the Misericordia's Women's Board and their century of service to those in need, as well as their founder, Frances McCormick McGuire. I'd like to welcome our friend Rob Johnson as we pay tribute to the McGuire family and the Women's Board.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Johnson, former TV news anchor, current communications consultant, and eternal Misericordia fan. And as a longtime supporter of the great works of Sister Rosemary Connolly, Lois, and the entire staff at Misericordia, I am delighted to share the rich history of the Misericordia Women's Board and their foundress, Frances McCormick McGuire. Having a brother with Down syndrome, Edward, who's now 49, he lives in Arkansas, and he is the love of our life. I know firsthand the importance of providing the highest quality of life and creating life-affirming opportunities for those in need through fundraising and service. From Misericordia's onset, it was apparent that the services being offered would greatly exceed the budget provided by the Catholic Charities Agency. Consequently, the Sisters of Mercy began seeking the support of volunteers throughout the city. Dr. Walter McGuire was appointed Misericordia's first Chief of Staff and Chief Obstetrician in 1921. His wife, Frances McGuire, recognized this unmet need, accepted the sisters' challenge, and soon a women's board dedicated to raising funds was born. Frances McGuire's vision established a foundation of volunteerism and community support that exists to this day. Under her leadership as the first president of the Women's Board, Misericordia welcomed countless new friends that has continued through the decades. Throughout Misericordia's 100-year history, the members of the McGuire family have continued this tradition of support for those in need. Frances's 7 children, John, Mary Elizabeth, Frances, Josephine, Julia, Patricia, and Walter, her many grandchildren and now great-grandchildren share in her legacy. We will now hear from Frances's grandson Mark and his wife Bo.
My first memory of Misericordia was when I was about 10, and my Aunt Dodie McGuire Dwyer and Uncle Jack had a precious new baby named Mary, their 6th child. Unfortunately, Mary had serious cardiac issues. She also had Down syndrome. She lived at Misericordia South, and despite their great efforts, God took her to heaven before she turned 2. I will never forget how much my cousins loved that baby and how grateful they were for the loving care she received at Misericordia.
The McGuire clan has been involved with Misericordia for many years and many events. Mark's sister Shawn even worked there for 5 years. I can remember my mother-in-law recruiting all of us annually to cover her territory for Candy Days. When Mark and I retired, we thought it would be fun to work together as volunteers for a charity we were passionate about. The opening of the Sweetheart Shop in Glenview seemed to be the perfect fit. As 9 months prior to the opening, our son Mark and his wife Katie were blessed with the most precious gift, a healthy son named PJ, who also happened to have Down syndrome. PJ is now 3.5 and thriving. He is constantly loved and challenged by his 15 cousins.
So for more than a year prior to the pandemic, we worked the registers at the Sweetheart Shop every Wednesday with the most amazing group of Misericordia residents, staff, and other volunteers. The spirit in the shop is truly special. Many of the customers have some tie to Ms. that is meaningful to them, and they love to share their stories. Thank you all for your support of Misericordia tonight and always. Because of you, the legacy of Frances McGuire and so many dedicated people is pushed forward.
Because of you, Misericordia will be there for our PJ and countless others. Please stop by and see us at the shop.
Mark and Bo, thank you. Now let us pay tribute to the memory of Frances and honor the entire McGuire family with the Founders Award.
On behalf of the dedicated staff and residents of Misericordia and the dedicated Women's Board, Sister Rosemary and I would like to present the Founders Award to Bishop Rassis and Deirdre Zubrod to honor their grandmother, Frances McGuire, the founder and first president of the Women's Board.
We are so grateful to Frances and the entire McGuire family for their dedication and commitment to supporting the mission of Misericordia these past 100 years. Their grandmother set the precedent to serve others in need, whether it involved a mother of meager means or a child with developmental disabilities. Residents and staff can look toward the future with promise, knowing supporters like the Women's Board and families like the McGuires continue to believe in our mission.
Thank you, Bishop Rassis and Deirdre, and the entire extended McGuire family for being such a significant part of our Misericordia family.
Thank you, Sister Rosemary and Lois. It is such a great honor to receive this award in recognition of our dear grandmother, Frances McCormick McGuire. I was her 17th grandchild. My mother is Frances McGuire Rassis, the third child of Dr. and Mrs. Walter McGuire. I'm especially proud to be a part of the celebration honoring the Women's Board founder and my grandmother, as I have been a devoted member of the Women's Board since 1999. Misericordia and the Women's Board has held a special place in my heart, as well as our entire family. Some of our fondest memories at Misericordia have been volunteering during the Christmas season. The magic of Misericordia at the holidays is truly remarkable. We also treasure our time together at Family Fest, and of course, shivering on the streets for Candy Days. All for the love of the residents of Misericordia. Service has always been at the heart of the McGuire family. Our belief in the mission of Misericordia and the everlasting inspiration of Sister Rosemary will keep us involved for generations to come.
I'm Bishop George Rassis. I'm the second grandchild of my grandparents' 46 grandchildren and the oldest grandson. This is my youngest sister. I know certainly the spirit of our grandparents is what has given birth to 100 years of service and generosity to this wonderful mission of Misericordia. I'd like to say a few words about my grandparents, if I may. Dr. Walter and his wife, Frances, raised 7 children. Our grandmother died May 3rd, 1933. My mother was 10 years old. 4 months later, my grandfather wrote this note, and I'm not sure when he gave it to her, but it goes as follows. Dear darling Frances, this is the last gift from Mother. She wished you to be very happy, to marry, to bring up children, and always to live up to the ideals of the Catholic Church. Remember that Mother was very sick and weary when she purchased this wedding gift for you. She thought a long way ahead. You should think of the beautiful ideals of Mother and imitate her in all things, and your life will be a happy one. Yours, Daddy. Dated September 1937. It is in that spirit, I think, that Misericordia has continued for 100 years. And my prayer, and all of our prayer is, of gratitude and thanks for the generosity, but also hopes for the future, the 25 and 50 and 100 years from now, that same spirit will be part of the Misericordia story. So in gratitude and thanks for this award, but also for all of the good work and ministry that's happened all these 100 years, we say thank you, Lord, and bless us as we go forward to the future together. And God bless all of you.
The Women's Board has been providing vital support to Misericordia since its inception, making it the longest-running service board in Misericordia's history. Today, the Women's Board has not only raised millions in support of the services provided by Misericordia, but also awareness and a strong volunteer presence. As you know, the purpose of this group is to promote and support the work of Misericordia by means of volunteering and fundraising throughout the year. One of the first brochures ever produced by Misericordia cited that through their personal efforts during the year 1921, 100 years ago, they also contributed $10,947. In fact, their efforts have been tireless and the results thereof, well, nigh marvelous. In the early 1980s, the Women's Board hosted their first Heart of Mercy Ball. In 1983, the ball honored individuals who have made outstanding contribution to Misericordia with the Heart of Mercy Award. In 1990, the Women's Board added the Sister Rosemary Connolly Service Medallion. The award honors volunteers who have made significant contributions to our children and adults at Misericordia. Then in 2014, the Women's Board introduced the Pillars of Community Award to honor a company or a foundation for extraordinary support of the mission of Misericordia.
The 1980s was a busy time for the Women's Board. They added a mailing initiative known as Angel Campaign to spread the mission of Misericordia to family and friends. Angel Appeal has grown to include loyal donors from all over the country. Donations are used to support job opportunities in the community, expansion of our residential settings from skilled nursing to community-based housing, and other innovative plans.
Sister Rosemary, in 2018, addressed the need to further expand community work opportunities for the residents. With the help of generous donors, including a Women's Board member, the idea for the Sweetheart Shop in Glenview was born.
My son Ryan is a resident at Misericordia. We were so happy when Misericordia decided to open the Sweetheart Shop. It's given Ryan and other residents the opportunity to work in the heart of Glenview, his home community. He absolutely loves working there and connecting with the customers and his coworkers. The Sweetheart Shop has given me and many other Women's Board members the chance to work with Misericordia residents.
The Women's Board continues its mission to grow through new members.
In an effort to continue my passion for public service, I joined the Misericordia Women's Board shortly before the global pandemic. There seemed to be no better place to continue to pay it back while paying it forward. The mission, values, and vision of the Women's Board began over 100 years ago, and today it resonates more loudly and more clearly than ever. The Women's Board is able to continue its dynamic destiny of compassion and commitment set forth in 1921. On this 100th anniversary, we can all collectively reflect on the past triumph of the talented Frances McCormick McGuire, and I am confident we will continue in the Misericordia mission fearlessly and devotedly into the future.
Congratulations to the Women's Board on 100 years of service to Misericordia.
What an amazing tribute, and thank you to Sister Rosemary, Lois Gates, Bishop Rassus, and Deidre Zubrod. You truly embrace the mission of Misericordia and are a part of the community of believers. Now, Misericordia continues to be able to provide the highest quality of care because of your support and the support of our amazing sponsors. We are so grateful to all of our sponsors, and we're lucky enough to have the opportunity to hear from one of our 2 centennial sponsors tonight and why they support Misericordia. Please welcome the McGee family, Mike, Anne, Marie, and Jan. Their sister, Tricia, has been a part of the Misericordia family for more than 3 decades and now resides at Misericordia's Quinlan Terrace.
Thanks, Lou. Our family is very pleased to co-sponsor this Heart of Mercy Ball. We look forward to sponsoring again next year and hope we'll see each of you in person at the Hilton. Early this year, we were astounded to learn that Lois Gates was celebrating 50 years serving Misericordia residents. We as a family were determined to recognize both Lois and the Misericordia staff who has made Tricia's life at Misericordia such a joy. Our family loves Lois. At every Misericordia event and each interaction with Trish or our residents, Lois always has added a special magic with her smile, her wit, and her leadership. For me personally, it was seeing Lois develop and nurture the artist in all, first at the Northern Trust and then at the Art Institute. Those exhibitions were amazing. and very meaningful to Trish and our family. The art department and the artist in all have given Tricia and the residents such happiness and let them take great pride in displaying their talents.
In January of every year, the to-do list of the Women's Board President reads as follows. Meet with the ball chairs, meet with the executive committee, get on Lois's calendar. That's because Lois is the powerhouse behind the Women's Board's efforts. She advises us when we ask for help, boosts us through her fundraising efforts, and enthusiastically encourages our board's innovations and growth. The Women's Board is so grateful for Lois's attention and guidance for both Angel Campaign and our annual ball. Working with Lois, the Women's Board also knows that Rome can actually be built in a day, even if we might have to pull an all-nighter. It's clear that Lois is fueled by her dedication to and compassion for the residents. Whether Lois is in her office or walking through the building, residents stop to talk to her about their day and get a hug. She knows each of them by name and claims they keep her young. Sister Rosemary always says that God sends her the right people at the right time to help her and the mission of Misericordia. God really sent Sister and the Women's Board a 50-year gift when she sent Lois to Ms. All of us at the Women's Board are so grateful to have Lois walking the Misericordia journey with us as our mentor and our friend. Thank you, Lois.
It is always a heartfelt pleasure to acknowledge the Misericordia staff for their exceptional dedication and care of our treasured family members. A sense of awe usually doesn't stick around 30+ years unless you have been blessed to witness Misericordia's angels of love evoke hidden talents, confidence, and humor from the individuals who call Misericordia home. Without the brilliant staff, we would have never known Tricia McGee, the painter, mail carrier, socialite, and the recipient of standing ovations every time she returned to Shannon from her home visits. Divinely inspired coincidences are natural occurrences on the Misericordia campus. Prior to joining the Women's Board, Marie Quinlan was unsure what to expect on her initial visit to Misericordia. A resident's request for her assistance as a dance partner sealed the bond and ultimately led to the creation of Quinlan Terrace. In 2012, Marie Quinlan bequeathed $8.5 million for accommodating the special needs of aging residents. This stunning gift was augmented by a highly successful Quinlan Terrace donation campaign, allowing the funding of 4 state-of-the-art accessible homes equipped to accommodate 60 residents. By late 2015, our family was amazed to be attending the grand opening of Quinlan Terrace so soon. And in 2021, surrounded by friends and remarkable staff in the cameral home of Quinlan Terrace, Tricia McGee is exactly where she wants to be. Thank you.
Thank you to the McGee family for your continued generous support that will allow Misericordia to provide not only for your sister Trish, but all the residents that Misericordia cares for on a daily basis. We're coming to the end of our program, so I want to remind you again that the auction closes at 9 p.m. sharp. No second chances. Make sure you're bidding and bidding often. Now, if you received a text that you've been outbid, well, you're not going to want to lose out on that, right? We've got Blackhawks tickets and golf packages, Chicago Symphony tickets, and so much more. I even saw they have some pickleball equipment. There's something for everyone. Make sure you go to heartofmercyball.org to bid and donate. No amount is too small to donate. It is now my pleasure to introduce the visionary behind what Misericordia is today, Sister Rosemary Connolly, who just celebrated 52 years as Executive Director of Misericordia this August. When she came to Misericordia in 1969, she saw that the residents were receiving great custodial care, but these children with disabilities weren't sick, and she wanted to get them out of bed. Today, you can see the residents benefiting from well over 25 programs that meet their individual needs and abilities and allow them to be as independent as possible. This is all because of Sister Rosemary's vision and an army of people devoted to support that extraordinary vision. Please join me in welcoming our very own Sister Rosemary Connolly.
Good evening, everyone. Who could have imagined that the Heart of Mercy Ball would have to be held virtually again this year? I have faith that God will continue to guide us through these difficult times and continue to bring Misericordia to the right people at the right time. The Women's Board has always had a very special place in my heart. I have been privileged to work with them since the first day I walked through the doors of Misericordia. And over the past 52 years, they have become not only friends, but a part of our family. They have graciously carried on the legacy of Frances McGuire, who founded the Women's Board in 1921, along with the entire McGuire family whom we honor tonight. The Women's Board has been dedicated to the mission of Misericordia and has always supported our many projects as we continue to grow throughout the years. I am in awe of God's goodness to Misericordia through you, the Women's Board of today, and all who are joining us tonight. I would like to especially thank our devoted Women's Board President Sharon and her creative event chairs Patty and Bridget for making this night possible, along with our development team led by Lois, Julie, Grace, and Ann. I would also like to thank our dedicated Misericordia staff, especially our leadership, the executive team, Mary Pat, Father Jack, Lois, and Kevin, as well as the administrative team, Denise, Chris, Joe, Gina, Michael, Tina, Scott, and Sharon. The quality of care our residents receive would not be possible without our incredible staff. Throughout this difficult health crisis, they have risked their own health and safety to ensure our residents remain healthy, happy, engaged, and challenged. I cannot thank them enough. We have so much to celebrate. The 100th anniversary of Misericordia, as well as the 100th anniversary of our Women's Board. It is truly a remarkable milestone. I can look toward the future with confidence, knowing we have your support tonight. We anticipate the opening of our new drive-through bakery, the Misericordia Hearts and Flower Bakery and Cafe. It's located just blocks from our campus on Ravenswood Avenue. This will provide additional work opportunities for our residents in the community and welcome our friends and neighbors to embrace the mission of Misericordia. We also plan to break ground soon for additional homes on our campus, which will give peace of mind to some of the families on our waiting list. Through your goodness, we, as a community, are doing God's work. This is certainly a cause for celebration. Thank you for joining us this evening and for walking this journey with us during this past century in such a loving and dedicated way. Thank you, and God bless you and yours. Amen.
Thank you, Sister Rosemary, for your inspiring words. And speaking of inspiring, we are so grateful to the dedicated Misericordia staff we are honoring tonight. You saw firsthand how happy and active the residents are each and every day. Now we're at the end of our program, but that doesn't mean you need to stop donating and bidding on auction items. Now remember, the auction closes at 9 p.m., but you can continue to donate well past 9 p.m., even throughout the weekend. Just go to heartofmercyball.org and click on that donate button. And we cannot thank all of our sponsors enough for supporting Misericordia. The Heart of Mercy Ball would not be a success that it is without your donations. Please stay tuned as we thank our sponsors at the end of this program. And thank you to everyone who attended and participated in tonight's Heart of Mercy virtual ball by bidding and donating. We hope to be able to gather together in person at next year's event. Until then, stay safe and healthy. And hopefully you can join us next year on Saturday, October 15th at the Hilton, Chicago. Now, I'm going to go find my wife while you find your partner, and let's dance the night away. Have a great evening, everyone.
Hi, I'm Meg Fiorenza, Vice President of the Misericordia Women's Board, and I'm with you today in the heart of Glenview from the Misericordia Sweet Shop. We're so happy you can join us this evening, and I'm here with Patty Bakeland, our 2021 Heart of Mercy Ball co-chair, my very own daughter, Nina Santa Cruz, who volunteers at the shop, and Katie Bakeland, Patty's daughter. So we're here tonight to do the raffle drawing. And the first item up, Nina, is the Apple AirPod Pros. Would you like to select a winner? Mm-hmm. Okay, can you spin? Katie, you can spin for us. Okay. And the winner is? And the winner is Sam Giampapa. Yay! Yay! Congratulations, Sam. Katie and Nina, are you ready to draw the winner of our $2,000 gift certificate to the American Club in Kohler, Wisconsin? Katie, would you like to spin the wheel? And Nina, let's see who our winner is. And the winner is Shauna Andrews. Congratulations, Shauna. And now for our third and final raffle item. It's our Sea Island Getaway. Katie, can you spin for us again? Wonder who's going to get lucky. And the winner is Marcia Desmond. Congratulations, Marcia.